The colony ship Horizon moved through the darkness of space like a small city made of steel and hope. Inside its massive hull, 10 million humans lived their daily lives. Children played in the recreation sections, families ate dinner together in the communal halls, scientists worked in laboratories, dreaming of the new world they would build on Kepler 442b. The ship had been traveling for 3 months, and they still had 2 years to go before reaching their destination. Captain Daniel Price stood on the bridge, watching the stars. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had commanded cargo ships for 20 years before taking this assignment. Leading 10 million people to a new world was the greatest responsibility of his life. He took it seriously. "Captain, we have a problem." The voice belonged to Lieutenant Kevin Brooks, the sensor officer. His young face looked worried. "What is it?" Daniel asked. "Unknown ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Multiple contacts. They are surrounding us." Daniel felt his stomach tighten. The Horizon had no weapons. It was a colony ship, built for carrying people and supplies, not for fighting. "How many ships?" 37, sir. They are moving into formation around us." The bridge crew worked quickly, their hands moving across control panels. Daniel activated the communication system. "This is Captain Daniel Price of the Earth colony ship Horizon. We are on a peaceful mission to establish a settlement on Kepler 442b. Please identify yourselves." The response came immediately. The main screen filled with an alien face. The creature had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern. Its skin was dark, purple, and covered with ridge-like scales. When it spoke, its mouth revealed rows of sharp teeth. "I am High Commander Zektharan of the Vorathian Empire. Your ship will stop immediately." Daniel kept his voice steady. "We are in neutral space, Commander. We have every right to continue our journey under galactic law." Zektharan made a sound that might have been laughter. "Galactic law is for species that matter. Humans are primitives. You left your small blue world and think you can claim other planets. This ends now. We have authorization from the Galactic Council," Daniel said. "Earth has followed every rule for peaceful expansion. We have colonies on 12 worlds. We have never attacked anyone. Your colonies exist because we allowed it," Zektharan said. His 4 eyes seemed to burn with contempt. "The Vorathian Empire has conquered 47 star systems. We are the true power in this region of space. Humans are weak. You talk about peace because you cannot fight." Dr. Lisa Grant entered the bridge. She was the chief xenobiologist on the Horizon. She had studied the Vorathians before. "Captain, I should speak to him." "I know their culture." Daniel nodded. Lisa stepped forward to face the screen. "Commander Zektharan, please listen. We mean no threat to your empire. There are children on this ship, families. We just want to build a home on an empty world." Zektharan's expression did not change. "The Vorathian Empire decides which species may expand, and which must stay confined to their birth world. Humans have not earned the right to spread across the stars. You will turn your ship around and return to Earth. All human colonies will be abandoned within 1 Earth year. If you refuse, there will be consequences." "We cannot turn back," Daniel said. "These people sold everything they owned to come on this journey. We have supplies for the colony, equipment, seeds, everything needed to start a new civilization. Please, be reasonable." "Reasonable?" Zektharan leaned closer to the screen. "Your species does not understand its place. The galaxy belongs to the strong. Humans are not strong. You are soft. You negotiate when you should conquer. You ask permission when you should take. This is why you will never be more than a small, weak species hiding on 1 world." Lieutenant Kevin Brooks spoke quietly. "Captain, they are powering up weapons." Daniel felt sweat on his forehead. "Commander, if you attack us, you will be violating every galactic treaty. Earth will respond." "Earth?" Zektharan laughed again. "Earth has a small fleet designed for defense. The Vorathian Empire has warships that could burn your homeworld to ash. You cannot threaten us. You can only obey." Lisa Grant tried once more. Please, just let us go. We are not your enemies. There is no need for violence. There is every need, Zektheron said. The galaxy must learn what happens when primitives try to rise above their station. Other species watch. They see humans spreading across the stars. They begin to think they can do the same. This cannot continue. An example must be made. What kind of example? Daniel asked, though he feared he knew the answer. Zektheron's expression became something that might have been a smile. Every communication network in known space will carry our message. We have already hacked into the systems. Billions of beings across hundreds of worlds will watch. They will see what the Vorathian Empire does to those who defy us. You cannot be serious, Lisa said. Her voice shook. There are 10 million people on this ship. I am completely serious, Dr. Grant. I know who you are. I know you studied my species. You wrote papers about Vorathian culture and history. You thought understanding us would help humans and Vorathians become friends. You were wrong. We do not want friends. We want subjects. Daniel activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands. This is the captain. We have a situation. I need everyone to remain calm. Go to your quarters. Stay with your families. Do not panic. But even as he spoke, Daniel could see the fear in the eyes of his bridge crew. They all understood what was about to happen. Commander Zektheron, Daniel said, his voice formal and cold. I am officially protesting this action. The Galactic Council will hear about this. Earth will hear about this. Oh, Earth will definitely hear about this, Zektheron said. In fact, Earth will watch it happen. Live. In real time. Just like everyone else. He leaned back in his command chair. Begin the broadcast. The screen split. Half still showed Zektheron. The other half showed the horizon from outside. Daniel could see his own ship surrounded by Vorathian war vessels. They were beautiful in a terrible way. All sharp angles and glowing weapons. People of the galaxy. Zektheron announced. Watch and learn. This is what happens to species that forget their place. The Vorathian Empire is generous. We allow lesser beings to exist, but when they challenge our authority, when they spread across our galaxy without permission, they must be taught a lesson. Witness the price of human arrogance. Daniel grabbed the edge of his command chair. His mind raced, searching for any way out. But there was none. The horizon had no weapons, no shields. Strong enough to stop a military fleet, they were trapped. Lieutenant Kevin Brooks looked at his captain. The young man's face was pale. Sir, what do we do? Daniel Price looked at his crew. Good people. Brave people. People who signed up to help build a new world, not to die in the void of space. We face this with dignity, he said quietly. Send a message to Earth. Tell them what is happening. Tell them to remember us. Outside the ship, the Vorathian fleet moved into attack position, and across the galaxy, billions watched their screens, waiting to see what would happen next. Admiral Kyle Morrison sat in Earth Defense Command, watching the main screen with growing horror. The broadcast had appeared on every channel without warning. Every television, every computer, every communication device on Earth suddenly showed the same image. A Vorathian commander and a human colony ship surrounded by alien warships. Get me the president, Kyle said. His voice was steady, but his hands gripped the armrests of his chair hard enough to hurt. She is already on the line, sir, Commander Patricia Wells said. She stood at her station, her face tight with controlled fear. President Nicole Carter appeared on a side screen. She was in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by advisors and military leaders. Kyle, tell me this is not what I think it is. It is exactly what you think it is, Madam President. The Vorathians have captured the horizon. They are broadcasting this to the entire galaxy. On the main screen, High Commander Zektheron continued speaking. His words were being translated into every known language automatically. This ship carries 10 million humans, men, women, children. They thought they could claim a world without our permission. They were wrong. Around the world, people stopped what they were doing. In cities and small towns, in homes and offices, everyone watched. Parents held their children. Old veterans of Earth's small wars stood with tears in their eyes. The entire planet held its breath. In the Vorathian fleet, Zektharan gave an order. Show them the ship. Let them see the faces. The camera view changed. Now it showed the inside of the horizon, through windows and observation decks. People could be seen moving inside. Families gathered together. Some people prayed. Others just held each other. Ambassador Henry Shaw sat in his office at the Galactic Council headquarters on the neutral world of Sanctuary Prime. He watched the broadcast with a growing sense of disbelief. Around him, representatives from 200 species also watched. None of them moved. None of them spoke. Someone has to stop this, Henry said. He stood up and looked at the council members. We have laws, treaties. The Vorathians cannot do this. A insect-like being from the Trell Collective clicked its mandibles. The laws say nothing about enforcement. Who will enforce them? Will you? Ambassador Shaw? Will Earth's small fleet challenge the Vorathian Empire? Henry's face went red with anger. So we just watch? We just let them murder 10 million people? What would you have us do? Asked a floating creature from the ethereal communion. The Vorathians have more warships than any 3 council species combined. If we try to stop them, they will kill us too. On the broadcast, Captain Daniel Price appeared. He stood on the bridge of the horizon, calm despite everything. To anyone watching this, we are the colony ship Horizon. We have done nothing wrong. We followed every law. We hurt no one. But the Vorathians have decided to make an example of us. Remember what you see here. Remember that the galaxy watched and did nothing. Dr. Lisa Grant stood beside the captain. She looked directly into the camera. My name is Dr. Lisa Grant. I have a daughter on Earth. Her name is Sophie. She is 7 years old. Sophie, Mommy loves you. I need you to be brave. I need you to grow up strong. Tell everyone what happened here. Make sure they never forget. In a small apartment in Seattle, a little girl named Sophie Grant watched the screen. Her grandmother held her as she cried. Mommy, Sophie whispered. Please come home. But Mommy was not coming home. None of them were. Admiral Kyle Morrison activated his communication link to all Earth military installations. All personnel to battle stations. I want every ship we have ready to launch in 1 hour. Prepare for immediate deployment. Sir, Commander Patricia Wells said quietly, even if we launch now, we cannot reach the horizon in time. They are 3 months away, at maximum speed. Kyle knew she was right, but he could not just sit and watch. I know. But we can make sure the Vorathians pay for this. Start calculating jump coordinates to every known Vorathian world. I want targeting solutions ready. Quote, President Nicole Carter heard the Admiral's words through the open channel. Kyle, wait. We need to think about this. If we attack the Vorathians, it will be war. Total war. Madam President, Kyle said, his voice cold and hard. It is already war. They just started it. On the broadcast, Zektharan spoke again. The time for talking is over. Let the demonstration begin. The Vorathian fleet opened fire. The weapons were precise and controlled. The Vorathians did not want to destroy the horizon quickly. They wanted it to take time. They wanted people to watch. They wanted the fear and horror to sink deep into every being that watched. The first shots hit the engines. The horizon shuddered. Inside, people screamed as the ship shook. Emergency alarms blared. Lights flickered and went out in some sections. Captain Daniel Price held on to his command chair as the bridge tilted. Damage report. Engines are gone, Lieutenant Kevin Brooks said, his voice cracked. Life support is failing in sections 7 through 12. We have hull breaches on multiple decks. Another volley of shots. This time they targeted the habitation sections. The blasts were calculated to tear through the hull slowly, pulling the air out, exposing people to the vacuum of space. On Earth, people watched families being sucked out into the void. They watched mothers trying to hold on to their children. They watched the horizon breaking apart piece by piece. "Turn it off!" someone screamed in Times Square, where the broadcast played on every large screen. "Please, turn it off!" But the broadcast could not be turned off. The Varathians had complete control. Everyone had to watch. Dr. Lisa Grant grabbed a support rail as another explosion rocked the ship. She could hear the screaming now. Thousands of voices crying out in terror and pain. She thought of Sophie. She hoped her daughter would not watch this. But she knew Sophie would. Everyone would. Lisa activated her personal recorder. "This is Dr. Lisa Grant. Final message. To Earth, to the Galactic Council, to anyone who cares. The Varathians are murdering us. They are doing it slowly, making it last so the galaxy will be afraid. Do not let them get away with this. Do not let our deaths mean nothing. Make them pay. Make them regret this day for the rest of their lives." She sent the message just before the communication systems failed. 17 minutes. That was how long it took. 17 minutes of watching the horizon die. 17 minutes of listening to the screams that somehow came through the broadcast. 17 minutes of seeing human beings dying in the cold of space. When it was over, when the horizon was nothing but scattered debris and frozen bodies, Zek Theron appeared on screen again. "This is the price of defiance," he said. "Humans, return to your birth world. Abandon your colonies. Accept your place as a minor species, and we will leave you in peace. Refuse, and we will do this again, and again, until you learn to obey." The broadcast ended. For a long moment, Earth was silent. Every person on the planet had just watched 10 million of their own die. Children, families, innocent people who just wanted to build a better life. In the White House Situation Room, President Nicole Carter sat very still. Her advisors waited for her to speak. Military leaders waited for orders. The whole world waited. Finally, she spoke one word: mobilize. Admiral Kyle Morrison understood immediately. "Madam President, are you authorizing full military deployment?" "I am authorizing whatever is necessary," Nicole said. Her voice was quiet, but there was steel in it. "Get me the Secretary of Defense. Get me the heads of every military branch. Get me the directors of every intelligence agency. And get me Dr. Alan Cooper." Commander Patricia Wells looked surprised. "Dr. Cooper, ma'am? The head of the Classified Weapons Division?" "Yes," Nicole said. "It is time the galaxy learned what humans can really do." Around the world, military bases went to full alert. Ships that had been in mothballs for years were suddenly brought out and prepared for launch. Factories that made weapons began running triple shifts. Every nation on Earth, every government, every military force, all of them aligned under a single purpose. Ambassador Henry Shaw sat in the Galactic Council chambers and watched the other species. They looked uncomfortable. Some looked scared. "Good," he thought. "They should be scared. The Varathians have made a terrible mistake," Henry said to the council. "You all saw what they did. You all watched. And you did nothing." "What could we do?" the Trell representative asked. Henry stood up. "You could have tried, but you did not. So now Earth will handle this alone. And when it is over, when we are done, the galaxy will remember this day. You will remember that you stood by and watched while children were murdered. And you will remember what happened next." He walked out of the council chambers. Back on Earth, in a deep underground facility, Dr. Alan Cooper reviewed files that had been classified for decades. Weapons that Earth had built in secret. Technology that no one knew existed. Plans for total war. He picked up his phone and called the president. "Madam President, I am ready. Give me the authorization codes and I will begin." Nicole Carter looked at the authorization document on her desk. Signing it would mean the death of billions, not humans, Varathians, every single one of them. She thought about the horizon. She thought about Dr. Lisa Grant saying goodbye to her daughter. She thought about 10 million people who had done nothing wrong. She signed the document. "Do it," she said. "Kill them all." The galaxy expected Earth to respond with words. They expected protests, threats, maybe some kind of economic sanctions. They expected humans to do what they always did: talk, negotiate, find a peaceful solution. The galaxy was wrong. 3 days after the Horizon massacre, every human colony went completely silent. Communication arrays shut down. Trade ships stopped traveling. Diplomatic channels closed. Earth and all its settlements became dark zones on the galactic map. No signals went out. No messages were answered. The Galactic Council sent envoys to Earth. None of them were permitted to land. Their ships were turned away at the edge of the solar system by defense platforms that had appeared from nowhere. "This is Ambassador Henry Shaw of Earth," came the only message. "Earth is not receiving visitors. Leave immediately, or you will be fired upon." The envoys left. In the Vorathian Empire, High Commander Zek Tharan watched reports of Earth's silence with satisfaction. "See? They know they cannot fight us. They hide like scared animals." But some of his advisors were not so sure. "Commander, our intelligence suggests unusual activity in Earth's asteroid belt. Ships are moving. Large ships, probably evacuating their colonies," Zek Tharan said. "They are giving up and going home, just as we demanded." What the Vorathians did not know was that Earth had been preparing for this moment for a very long time. 50 years earlier, after first contact with alien species, Earth's leaders had made a decision. They would present themselves as peaceful, diplomatic, friendly, but in secret, they would prepare for war, real war, total war, the kind of war that would end threats permanently. Dr. Alan Cooper had been part of that program since the beginning. Now 70 years old, he stood in a command center buried 3 miles under the Rocky Mountains. Around him, screens showed data that would terrify any alien species if they could see it. "Status report," he said. General Frank Hughes, the head of Earth Military Command, read from a tablet. "All fleets are in position. The asteroid bases are fully operational. Ground forces are loaded and ready for deployment. Weapon systems are charged and targeting solutions are locked." "How many ships?" President Nicole Carter asked. She stood beside Dr. Cooper, watching the screens. 2,347 capital ships, Frank said. Each one larger and more powerful than anything the Vorathians have. "We also have 15,000 support vessels, 3,000 troop carriers, and 600 specialized weapon platforms." Nicole felt a chill. "The Vorathians think we have maybe 200 ships total." "That is what we wanted them to think, Doctor," Cooper said. "For 5 decades, we have been building ships in the asteroid belt, in hidden facilities on the dark side of the moon, in deep space construction yards that do not appear on any map. We showed the galaxy a small defense fleet. We never showed them our real military." Admiral Kyle Morrison entered the command center. He looked tired but determined. "Madam President, the fleet admirals are waiting for your order." Nicole looked at the screens. Each one showed a different part of Earth's hidden armada, ships that could cross the galaxy in days, weapons that could crack planets, technology that the Vorathians would call impossible. "Tell me about the weapons," she said to Dr. Cooper. The old scientist pulled up a file. "We have 3 primary weapon systems. First, kinetic bombardment. Projectiles accelerated to 90% light speed. When they hit, they release energy equivalent to nuclear weapons. Second, biological agents. We studied Vorathian DNA from diplomatic exchanges. We created viruses specifically designed to target their genetic structure. One exposure means death in 48 hours. Third, and most classified, reality warping technology." "Reality warping?" Nicole asked. "We learned it from studying faster than light travel," Dr. Cooper explained. "If you can bend space to move ships, you can bend space to destroy things. We can create localized fields where matter simply ceases to exist. No explosions. No energy release. Things just stop being there." General Frank Hughes added more information. We also have stealth technology that makes our ships invisible to all known sensor types. We have shields that can absorb any weapon the Vorathians possess. And we have the manufacturing capacity to build more ships faster than any other species in the galaxy. How is that possible? Nicole asked. We only made first contact 50 years ago. Because we learned from history, Dr. Cooper said. Earth has fought countless wars. We know what works and what doesn't. We know that in war, you must be completely committed, or you will lose. We decided that if Earth ever had to fight, we would fight to win. Totally. Completely. Without mercy. Captain Jennifer Lane appeared on one of the screens. She commanded the stealth fleet, 300 ships that the Vorathians did not know existed. Dr. Cooper. My ships are in position around all 17 Vorathian colony worlds. We have been watching them for the past 2 days. They have not detected us. Excellent, Dr. Cooper said. What about their home world? Admiral Morrison's main fleet is ready to jump. They will arrive simultaneously with the colony attacks. Nicole Carter took a deep breath. What she was about to order would haunt her for the rest of her life. But when she thought about the horizon, about 10 million people murdered while the galaxy watched, her resolve hardened. Before we begin, I want to address Earth, she said. Open a planet-wide channel. A moment later, every screen on Earth showed the president. She stood in the command center, wearing a simple black suit. Behind her, military officers moved with quiet efficiency. My fellow humans, Nicole began. 3 days ago, we watched the worst atrocity in our history. The Vorathians murdered 10 million of our people. They did it slowly, cruelly, while broadcasting it to the entire galaxy. They wanted to make us afraid. They wanted to make us submit. She paused, letting her words sink in. They failed. Earth does not submit. Earth does not forgive. And Earth does not forget. What you are about to see will be difficult. What we are about to do will be terrible. But it is necessary. The Vorathians must learn that there are consequences for killing our children. The galaxy must learn that humanity's choice of peace is exactly that. A choice. And when we are forced to abandon that choice, we will show no mercy. Nicole looked directly into the camera. The Vorathians wanted to teach us a lesson. They wanted to show us our place in the galaxy. Instead, they have given us a different lesson. They have taught us that we can never allow this to happen again. They have taught us that the only way to ensure the safety of human children is to eliminate threats completely. They have taught us that sometimes, the right thing to do is also the terrible thing to do. She took a breath. In approximately 10 minutes, Earth's military will begin operations against the Vorathian Empire. By the time those operations are complete, the Vorathian species will no longer exist. Every world they control will be empty. Every ship they possess will be destroyed. Their civilization will become a memory, a warning to others about what happens when you murder our families. Around Earth, people watched in stunned silence. Some cried, some cheered. Most simply watched, unable to process what they were hearing. I know this is not who we want to be. Nicole continued. We want to be explorers, scientists, builders of new worlds. We want to reach out to the stars with open hands and open hearts. But the Vorathians have proven that the galaxy is not ready for that version of humanity. So instead, they will meet the other version. The version that survived ice ages and world wars. The version that conquered our own planet through sheer determination. The version that does not stop, does not quit, and does not lose. She nodded to Admiral Kyle Morrison. It is time, she said simply. Kyle activated the fleet communication system. All ships. This is Morrison. You have your targets. You have your orders. No Vorathian survives. No Vorathian escapes. Execute Operation Complete Justice. Across the solar system, ships that had been hiding in asteroid fields and behind moons activated their engines. They formed into battle groups, each one larger than anything the Vorathians had ever assembled. Captain Jennifer Lane gave orders to her stealth fleet. All ships. Maintain stealth protocols until the main fleet arrives. Then we attack simultaneously. Remember, our job is to prevent evacuations. No Vorathian ship leaves those worlds. No escape pods get away. Understood? Her captains acknowledged. In the command center, Dr. Cooper activated the countdown. Jump in 5 minutes. All systems are green. Weapons are charged. Targeting is locked. General Frank Hughes commanded the ground forces. Assault teams. Remember your mission. Once the orbital bombardment is complete, you go down and make sure nothing survived. We cannot take chances. Verify every target. Nicole Carter watched the countdown timer. Each second brought them closer to genocide. She thought about all the philosophy classes she had taken in college, all the discussions about morality and justice. None of it had prepared her for this moment. Madam President, Admiral Morrison said quietly, you can still stop this. Give the order, and we stand down. Nicole looked at him. And then what? We protest to the Galactic Council? We demand justice from species that watched children die and did nothing? We wait for the Vorathians to kill more of us? Kyle said nothing. No, Nicole said. We do this. We do this so that no other species will ever think they can hurt us without paying the ultimate price. We do this so that human children can grow up safe, knowing that their civilization will protect them at any cost. The countdown reached 0. Execute, Nicole said. 2,347 ships vanished from Earth's solar system. They reappeared simultaneously at 18 different locations across Vorathian space, 17 colony worlds and 1 home world, all suddenly surrounded by human warships. The Vorathians had no time to react, no time to send warnings, no time to beg for mercy. The war to end the Vorathian species had begun. The Vorathian colony world of Kethvar was a beautiful place. 3 billion Vorathians lived there in gleaming cities. They had conquered this world 200 years ago, building their civilization on top of ruins left by the previous inhabitants. The Vorathians believed they were safe, protected, untouchable. They were wrong. When the human fleet appeared in orbit, the Vorathians initially thought it was a mistake. Humans did not have enough ships to attack a fortified colony world. The defense platforms alone could destroy any fleet Earth could assemble. But this was not the fleet Earth had shown the galaxy. This was the real fleet. Captain Jennifer Lane commanded the stealth destroyer Liberty. Her ship had been watching Kethvar for 2 days, invisible to all sensors. Now she gave the order her crew had been waiting for. Target all defense platforms. Fire. Beams of pure energy lanced out from 300 stealth ships. The Vorathian defense platforms exploded before they could return fire. Within 90 seconds, Kethvar's orbital defenses were gone. On the planet's surface, alarms began to sound. Vorathians looked up at the sky and saw human ships. Thousands of them. They blocked out the sun. This is Captain Jennifer Lane of Earth Defense Fleet. To any Vorathians hearing this message, you are all going to die. Your species murdered 10 million humans while the galaxy watched. Now the galaxy will watch you die. There will be no surrender. There will be no mercy. There will be no survivors. The bombardment began. Kinetic projectiles fell from orbit at 90% light speed. Each impact released energy equal to a large nuclear weapon. The first volley targeted the 10 largest cities on Kethvar. In an instant, 200 million Vorathians ceased to exist. The cities simply vanished, replaced by craters 5 miles deep. But Jennifer's orders were specific. Make it take time. Let them feel fear. Let them know what is coming. Cease bombardment, she ordered. Deploy the biological agents. Smaller ships descended into the atmosphere. They released clouds of genetically engineered viruses. The viruses spread quickly, carried by wind and water. Every Vorathian who breathed the air or touched contaminated surfaces became infected. The virus worked exactly as Dr. Cooper designed it. It attacked Vorathian DNA, breaking down cellular structures from the inside. Infected Vorathians died over 48 hours. Slowly and painfully. Their skin turned black. Their internal organs failed one by one. They felt every moment of it. 3 billion Vorathians were infected in the first hour. On the Vorathian homeworld, High Commander Zektheron watched reports coming in from the colonies. At first, he refused to believe them. Humans could not do this. Humans were weak. "Get me a communication channel to Earth," he demanded. "I will negotiate with them." "Sir, all our attempts to contact Earth have failed," his communication officer said. "They are not responding." "Then contact their fleet," Zektheron said. Admiral Kyle Morrison received the communication request. He was aboard the flagship Retribution, leading the main attack on the Vorathian homeworld. The homeworld had a population of 12 billion. It had the strongest military defenses in the Vorathian Empire. None of it mattered. "Put him through," Kyle said. Zektheron's face appeared on the screen. The arrogant Vorathian commander now looked desperate. "Admiral Morrison, we need to discuss terms. What happened with the Horizon was a mistake. We can negotiate reparations." Kyle stared at the Vorathian with cold eyes. "There are no terms. There is no negotiation. You killed 10 million of our people. We are killing all of your people. It is very simple. You cannot do this," Zektheron said. "The Galactic Council will stop you." "The Galactic Council watched your species murder human children and did nothing," Kyle said. "They will watch your species die and do nothing. Because now they are afraid of us instead of you." "Please," Zektheron said. The word sounded strange coming from him. "There are children on our worlds. Innocent civilians." Kyle felt anger rise in his chest. "There were children on the Horizon. You killed them while broadcasting it to the galaxy. You made sure everyone watched. Now everyone will watch you die." He ended the communication. "All ships, commence bombardment. Target every population center. I want nothing left alive on this planet." The Vorathian homeworld had defense systems that were the pride of the Empire. Shields that could absorb massive amounts of energy. Weapons that could destroy whole fleets. Underground bunkers that could protect billions. Earth's weapons simply ignored all of it. The reality warping technology Dr. Cooper had developed did not attack the shields. It created zones where the shields stopped existing. The bunkers offered no protection because the weapons reached inside and erased everyone within. The Vorathian fleet launched from orbital stations, but human ships were faster, more advanced, and vastly more numerous. Commander Eric Stone led the ground assault teams. His job was to land on Vorathian worlds after the bombardment and verify that nothing survived. He had trained for combat his entire military career. He had studied war, tactics, strategy, but nothing prepared him for what he saw. "Landing teams, report," Eric said as his ship touched down on Kethvar. "Team Alpha, we have landed in what used to be the capital city. There is nothing here, just a crater." "Team Beta, we are in the northern continent. We have found bodies, thousands of them. The virus killed them all." "Team Charlie, searching the underground facilities." "Wait. We have survivors. A group of children in a sealed bunker." Eric felt his chest tighten. Children. The one thing that made this mission harder than any battle. "Orders, sir?" the team leader asked. Eric thought about the Horizon. He thought about human children being sucked into space, while the Vorathians watched and laughed. He thought about the orders from President Carter. "No survivors. Complete the mission," he said quietly. "No exceptions." The communication channel was silent for a moment. Then, "Understood, sir." On 17 colony worlds, the same scenes played out. Human forces descended after the orbital attacks. They found cities in ruins. They found Vorathians dying from the virus. They found survivors hiding in bunkers and shelters. They left no one alive. General Frank Hughes watched the operation from the command center on Earth. Each screen showed a different world. Each screen showed the systematic elimination of an entire species. "Sir, we have a problem at Colony World 7, an officer reported. "The Vorathian military there is attempting a counterattack. They have gathered their remaining ships." "How many ships?" Frank asked. "Approximately 500. Send a message to Captain Lane. Handle it." Jennifer Lane received the order. Her fleet outnumbered the Vorathian ships 6-1. The battle lasted 12 minutes. When it was over, 500 Vorathian ships were debris. The human fleet lost nothing. Back on the Vorathian homeworld, Zektheron sat in his command center and watched his civilization die. Reports came in from every colony, every world, every ship, all the same message. The humans were winning, the Vorathians were being wiped out. He thought about the horizon. He thought about how he had laughed when Captain Daniel Price asked for mercy. He thought about 10 million humans dying over 17 minutes, while he watched with satisfaction. Now it was his turn to watch. To see his own species being exterminated, to feel the same helpless rage and fear. "Sir, the humans are deploying something new over the capital," an officer said. "Our sensors cannot identify it." On the screen, a strange shimmer appeared in the air above the city. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist. Then the city simply stopped existing. 12 million Vorathians gone in an instant. No explosion, no debris, just empty space where a city had been. What was that?" Zektheron whispered. His science advisor looked at the data with disbelief. They erased it. They found a way to make matter cease to exist. This technology should not be possible. Zektheron understood then. Humans were not just more advanced than the Vorathians had believed. Humans were far beyond anything the galaxy had seen. They had hidden their true capabilities, showing only weakness while building weapons in secret. And the Vorathians had given them a reason to use those weapons. "Send a message to all Vorathian ships," Zektheron said. "Tell them to scatter, try to escape to other star systems. Maybe some of our people can survive." But Captain Jennifer Lane had predicted this. Her stealth ships surrounded every Vorathian world. When ships tried to flee, they found human vessels waiting. No one escaped, no one got away. Admiral Kyle Morrison watched the countdown. 6 days since the operation began. 17 colony worlds were silent. 32 billion Vorathians dead. Only the home world remained. "Final phase," Kyle said. "Deploy all weapons. I want nothing left." The Retribution and 200 other capital ships moved into position over the Vorathian homeworld. They fired simultaneously. Kinetic weapons, energy beams, biological agents, and reality-warping technology, all used at once. The planet's surface burned, cities vanished, mountains were leveled, oceans boiled away. The virus spread through every remaining shelter and bunker. The reality-warping devices erased entire regions. Zektheron sat in his command center as the ceiling began to collapse. Alarms screamed. The lights failed. He knew he was going to die. His species was going to die. And it was his fault. His last thought before the end was of the horizon. Of Captain Daniel Price trying to protect his people. Of Dr. Lisa Grant begging for mercy. Of 10 million humans who had done nothing to deserve their fate. Now 12 billion Vorathians were paying the price for his arrogance. The Vorathian homeworld went dark. No signals, no life signs, nothing. Commander Eric Stone led the final verification teams. They walked through the ruins of the capital city, bodies everywhere, buildings collapsed, the air still toxic from the biological weapons. "Search completed," Eric reported. "No life detected. The Vorathian species is extinct." In the command center on Earth, General Frank Hughes marked the final world as cleared. President Nicole Carter stood beside him, watching the screens go dark one by one. "It is done," Frank said quietly. Nicole nodded. She felt no joy, no satisfaction. Just a heavy weight that she would carry for the rest of her life. "Recall the fleets," she said. "Bring our people home." The galaxy learned about the extinction of the Vorathian species, slowly at first. Communication networks had been disrupted during the fighting, but within days, the truth spread. Humans, the species everyone thought was weak and peaceful, had wiped out an entire civilization in less than a week. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. Representatives from 200 species gathered on Sanctuary Prime. They waited for Earth to send someone to explain. To defend their actions. To face judgment. President Nicole Carter walked into the council chambers alone. She wore a simple black suit. No guards, no advisors. Just her. The head of the council, a tall being called Counselor Thex, spoke first. President Carter, this council charges Earth with genocide. You have exterminated an entire species. 45 billion Vorathians are dead. How do you answer these charges? Nicole looked around the chamber. She saw fear in many faces. Good. They should be afraid. Before I answer, Nicole said, I want to show you something. She activated a holographic projector. The image of the horizon appeared, floating in the center of the chamber. The colony ship as it looked before the attack. Beautiful. Full of hope and life. This is the colony ship Horizon, Nicole said. 10 million humans. Families. Children. Scientists going to build a new world. They followed every law. They hurt no one. They asked for nothing except to be left alone. The image changed. Now it showed the Vorathian fleet surrounding the horizon. The Vorathians captured this ship. They hacked into every communication network in the galaxy. They made sure everyone would watch what came next. The footage played. The council members watched as Zek Theron announced his intention to make an example. They watched as Captain Daniel Price tried to negotiate. They watched as Dr. Systemanders, Lisa Grant begged for the lives of the children. Then, they watched the 17 minutes of slaughter. When it ended, the chamber was silent. Several council members looked sick. A few were crying. Where were you? Nicole asked softly. Where was the Galactic Council when this was happening? Where was galactic law? Where was justice? Counselor Thex started to speak, but Nicole cut him off. You watched, all of you watched, and you did nothing. You told yourselves there was nothing you could do. The Vorathians were too strong, too powerful, so you just watched children die and called it politics. She walked slowly around the chamber, looking at each representative. Ambassador Henry Shaw came to this council and begged for help. You told him Earth's fleet was too small to challenge the Vorathians. You were right. Earth's known fleet could never defeat them. But what you did not know, what none of you knew, is that Earth had been preparing for this moment since we joined the galactic community. A screen activated behind her. It showed images of Earth's hidden fleet, the massive construction facilities in the asteroid belt, the weapon research stations, the thousands of ships built in secret. While we smiled and talked about peace, we built this. While we negotiated treaties and joined your councils, we prepared for war. Because we learned something from human history. We learned that peaceful species survive only if they can defend themselves. We learned that predators respect only strength. The screen changed to show the Vorathian worlds burning. So when the Vorathians killed our children, we showed them what humans really are. We are not weak. We are not passive. We choose peace because we believe in it, not because we cannot fight. And when someone forces us to abandon peace, we fight with everything we have. But genocide, Counselor Thex protested. You killed an entire species. Yes, Nicole said simply. We did. And we would do it again. Because the alternative is to accept that any species can murder our children without consequences. We will not accept that. We will never accept that. She pulled out a data chip and placed it on the council table. This chip contains video messages from the horizon. Final words from people who knew they were about to die. I want you to watch them. All of them. 10 million people saying goodbye. And then I want you to tell me that what we did was wrong. Counselor Thex picked up the chip with a shaking hand. Earth is withdrawing from the Galactic Council, Nicole announced. We will maintain diplomatic relations with individual species, but we no longer recognize this body's authority. You proved yourselves worthless when it mattered most. You cannot just leave, another council member said. Watch us, Nicole replied. And understand this. Earth's military is now the strongest in the galaxy. Any species that threatens human civilians will face the same fate as the Vorathians. We do not want to fight. We would prefer to explore the stars in peace, but we will protect our people at any cost. Tell that to every species in this galaxy. Make sure they understand." She turned to leave, then stopped and looked back. "One more thing. We are leaving the Vorathian homeworld intact. Empty. Dead. But intact. Any species that wants to see what happens when you murder human children can visit and look at the ruins. Consider it a monument, a reminder, a warning." Nicole Carter walked out of the council chambers. Behind her, the representatives sat in shocked silence. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Or what passed for normal after such events. The military stood down from full alert. Ships returned to their bases. People went back to work, to school, to their daily routines. But everything had changed. Admiral Kyle Morrison sat in his office, looking at casualty reports. Not Vorathian casualties. Human casualties. 14 soldiers had died during the ground operations. 14 people who would never go home. He thought about the 45 billion Vorathians. Children, civilians, people who had nothing to do with the Horizon massacre, all dead because their leaders made a terrible choice. "Sir?" Commander Patricia Wells stood in the doorway. "The memorial service is starting soon." Kyle nodded and stood. The memorial was for the Horizon victims. A permanent structure had been built in orbit, at the exact location where the colony ship died. 10 million names carved into black stone, a light that would burn forever, visible from Earth. Thousands of people gathered for the ceremony. Families of the victims, military personnel, government officials, and one little girl named Sophie Grant, holding her grandmother's hand. President Nicole Carter spoke at the ceremony. Her words were broadcast across Earth and to all human colonies. "We gather here to remember 10 million people who should still be alive, who should have reached their new world and built something beautiful. Instead, they died because someone decided human lives did not matter. Someone decided we were too weak to defend ourselves." She looked up at the memorial light. "They were wrong. And now the galaxy knows they were wrong. Our loved ones did not die for nothing. Their deaths showed the universe what happens when you push humanity too far. When you force us to abandon our hope for peace, when you make us choose between our principles and our children, we will choose our children every time." Sophie Grant looked up at the memorial. Her teacher had explained what happened to her mother. How Dr. Lisa Grant died trying to save people. How she sent a final message asking Earth to never forget. "I will not forget, Mommy," Sophie whispered. "I promise." In the weeks that followed, something interesting happened across the galaxy. Species that had been planning to expand into human territory suddenly changed their minds. Trade routes that used to avoid human space now went through it. Diplomatic requests from Earth were answered immediately. Fear and respect looked very similar, it turned out. Ambassador Henry Shaw met with representatives from various species. Many of them wanted to apologize for not helping during the Horizon crisis. Henry listened politely and said nothing. Earth had learned its lesson. They could not rely on anyone else to protect human lives. Dr. Alan Cooper shut down most of his weapons programs. The war was over. The weapons had served their purpose. But some programs continued in secret. Earth would never again be caught, unprepared. General Frank Hughes retired 6 months after the war ended. He could not continue serving after what he had ordered. He spent his retirement visiting the families of the Horizon victims, apologizing to each one for not saving their loved ones. Captain Jennifer Lane received a promotion to Admiral and took command of Earth's deep space fleet. Her mission was to ensure that human colonies never again faced threats alone. She took the assignment seriously. Commander Eric Stone requested a transfer to Colony Support Services. He never wanted to lead combat operations again, but he helped train thousands of soldiers in defensive tactics. Just in case, the Vorathian homeworld became known as the Dead World. A few exploration teams visited it, documenting what they found. Ruined cities. Craters where reality itself had been erased. Evidence of a civilization that had been powerful and proud and completely destroyed. The Galactic Council passed new laws about the protection of civilians in war. Too late for the Horizon. Too late for the Vorathians. But perhaps useful in the future. Earth established new colonies, but now each colony had military defenses. Ships patrolled the space lanes. Soldiers trained alongside civilian populations. Humanity would never again trust others to respect their right to exist peacefully. A year after the war, President Nicole Carter stood alone in her office late at night. She had not slept well since signing the order to exterminate the Vorathians. She never would again. Was it worth it? She asked the darkness. 45 billion lives for 10 million. Was that justice? Or just revenge? No one answered. There was no answer. She had done what she believed was necessary. History would judge whether she was right. On the Horizon Memorial, a new name was added. Not a victim, but a promise. The first child born in the colony on Kepler 442b was named Hope Morrison. Admiral Kyle Morrison's daughter, the colony that the Horizon never reached. Earth had sent another ship, this time with a military escort. The settlers arrived safely. They built their new world. They named their capital city Horizon, so no one would forget. Children grew up on Kepler 442b hearing stories about the ship that died trying to reach them, about the 10 million people who sacrificed everything, about how Earth responded, about the price the Vorathians paid. Never forget. Parents told their children. We are here because others died. We live in freedom because Earth showed the galaxy what happens when you threaten us. The children understood. Humanity had changed. The species that reached for the stars with open hands now reached with one hand open and one hand armed, ready for friendship, prepared for war. In the depths of space, human ships patrolled trade routes. They helped species in need. They responded to distress calls. They showed the peaceful side of humanity, but every ship carried weapons. Every crew trained for combat. Every captain knew that if civilians were threatened, Earth would respond with total force. The galaxy had learned. Humans were dangerous. Not because they were violent by nature, but because they were willing to become violent when necessary. They would talk. They would negotiate. They would trade and share and cooperate. But touch their children and they would kill you all. Years passed. Decades. The Horizon massacre became history. But Earth never forgot. Every military academy showed footage of the colony ship's destruction. Every diplomatic course studied the war that followed. Every child learned what happened when someone underestimated humanity. The Vorathian homeworld remained empty. A dead planet circling a living sun. Proof that extinction was not just a theoretical concept. Proof that even powerful civilizations could fall. And in quiet moments, when human leaders made decisions about war and peace, they remembered President Nicole Carter's choice. The terrible necessity of total war. The price of protecting your people. Some called it justice. Some called it revenge. Some called it genocide. Earth called it a promise. Touch our children and we will erase you from existence. Simple, clear, absolute. The galaxy heard that promise. The galaxy believed it, and humanity expanded across the stars, building colonies and making friends and exploring new worlds. Always peaceful. Always diplomatic. Always ready, because they had learned the most important lesson of all. Peace is not the absence of strength. Peace is the choice made by those strong enough to destroy their enemies but wise enough to seek another way. The Vorathians never learned that lesson. They paid for their ignorance with everything they were and everything they would ever be. And the galaxy never forgot.